The sun blazed over our quiet cul-de-sac, painting the afternoon with golden warmth. It was the kind of Saturday that begged for a barbecue, and our backyard was alive with the sizzle of burgers on the grill. My dad, James, manned the flames with a practiced hand, flipping patties while the smoky aroma mingled with the scent of freshly mowed grass. My mom, Emily, fussed over the picnic table, arranging bowls of crisp salad and stacks of potato chips. My older brother, Ethan, fiddled with the speakers, curating a playlist to keep the vibe just right. I, Lucas, sprawled on the patio, scrolling through my phone, soaking in the lazy perfection of the day. Birds chirped in the distance, and for a moment, the world felt still until she appeared. I spotted her first, striding down the street with that unmistakable air of authority. Margaret, the neighborhood's self-appointed enforcer, clutched her clipboard like a weapon. She was a fixture at HOA meetings, always ready to pounce on the smallest infraction with hawk-like precision. I muttered under my breath, "Here we go again." James glanced up from the grill, his jaw tightening. "Ignore her, Lucas," he said, but the edge in his voice betrayed his irritation. Margaret didn't bother with pleasantries. She marched up our driveway, her lips pursed in a smug line. "Afternoon," she said, her tone dripping with condescension. "You've got a problem. Your trash cans weren't put away on time last week. That's a $40 fine." Emily stepped forward, hands on her hips. "Margaret, this is ridiculous. It's a trash can, not a crime scene. You're harassing us." Margaret's eyes glinted with satisfaction. "Rules are rules, Emily. I'm just doing my job." Ethan, pausing his music setup, called out, "What's it this time, Margaret? Another power trip?" She ignored him, scribbling on her clipboard. James, usually the calm one, had had enough. "3 fines this month, Margaret." "For what? A mailbox that's slightly tilted? A lawn that's half an inch too long? This is absurd." But Margaret was unfazed. "Pay the fine, or I'll report you to the board. You'll be in real trouble then." Before we could respond, she pulled out her phone. "I'm calling the police," she declared, her voice shrill. "You're refusing to comply." I stared, dumbfounded. She was calling the cops over a trash can? The absurdity almost made me laugh, but the glint in her eyes told me she was serious. James shook his head, muttering, "She's actually doing it." Ethan snorted, "Worst HOA member in history." I'd had enough. Stepping forward, I locked eyes with her. "Hold off on that call, Margaret." She froze, her finger hovering over the dial button. "What did you say?" I took a deep breath, savoring the moment. "You might want to know who you're dealing with. We're not just your average neighbors. We're federal agents, James, Emily, Ethan, and me. All of us." Her face went pale, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. "You're kidding," she stammered. I crossed my arms, grinning. "Nope. And you've been harassing us for months. Now you've gone too far." The sound of sirens cut through the air, growing louder as a police car rolled into view. Margaret's confidence wavered, her eyes darting between us and the approaching officer. He stepped out, his expression calm but firm. "What's the problem here?" I smiled. "We're fine, officer." Margaret here misunderstood something. She tried to speak, but the officer cut her off. "Ma'am, did you call us over an HOA violation?" Her voice trembled as she admitted. "Yes, but he held up a hand. "Calling the police for this is a misuse of resources. You've made a serious mistake." Margaret's smugness vanished, replaced by panic as the officer turned to us. "You're free to go. I'll handle this." We returned to the barbecue, but the mood was shattered. The burgers sizzled, the music played, but tension hung over us like a storm cloud. Emily broke the silence. "This isn't over. Margaret won't let it go." James nodded. "She'll be back, probably with a lawyer." As the sun dipped below the horizon, the phone rang. James answered, his face growing grim. "That was the HOA board," he said after hanging up. "They're suing us for not paying the fine. Margaret's convinced them we're a bad influence. They're even talking about a mediator to avoid court, but they want a bigger fine for our defiance." Ethan groaned. "This is insane. She's turning a trash can into a war." I felt my stomach twist. This wasn't just about petty rules, Anna Maria, it was about power. And Margaret was wielding it like a weapon. But then, through the trees, I saw it. A black SUV, sleek and unmistakable, slowing in front of Margaret's house. A man in a sharp suit stepped out, carrying a legal document, and walked to her door. "What the hell is that?" Ethan whispered. James's eyes narrowed. "That's no coincidence." The air grew heavier as the SUV drove off. James's voice was low. "We need to find out who that guy is." This just got bigger. That night, the doorbell rang at 10 p.m., sharp and jarring. My heart raced as James answered. A deep voice spoke. "I'm Agent Carter, federal government. We need to talk about your HOA issues. It's more complicated than you think." My pulse quickened. The man from the SUV was a federal agent? Carter stepped inside, his expression unreadable. "Margaret's accusing you of violations, but she's tied to someone with real influence. This isn't just about fines. It's a federal case." My mind reeled. "What do you mean?" Carter's eyes flicked to the street. "Margaret's a small player in a larger operation. We need your cooperation. There's a pattern of activity in this neighborhood, and she's just the tip of the iceberg." James's voice was steady. "We'll cooperate, but you tell us everything." Carter nodded. "Stay vigilant. This is bigger than you know." Days later, the black SUV reappeared, parked near our street's intersection. My gut told me it wasn't random. "We can't wait for answers," I said to the family. "We need to follow it." James agreed, and we slipped out under cover of dusk, trailing the SUV to a nondescript warehouse labeled Logistics and Distribution. The man from the SUV entered through a hidden side door. "We need to get closer," James whispered. We crept toward the building, my heart pounding like a drum. Inside, the air was thick with dust and cigarette smoke. We followed the faint hum of machinery to a makeshift office. There, a group of men in suits sat around a table, their voices low. I recognized the man from the SUV. Before we could retreat, footsteps echoed behind us. "Quiet," hissed Agent Carter, appearing from the shadows. "You shouldn't be here. It's not safe." He led us to an alley, his face tense. "This is a front for money laundering. Margaret's fines are a cover for moving dirty money, drugs, weapons, you name it." My stomach dropped. Our annoying neighbor was part of a criminal network? Carter's voice was grim. "She doesn't know the full scope, but she's helping them. And now you're a problem." That night, I couldn't sleep. At 2 a.m., a knock at my window jolted me awake. It was Carter. "Get dressed," he whispered. "You need to see this." I followed him to his car, the tension suffocating as we drove to the same warehouse. Inside, we found the office again, now empty but filled with files, one labeled with Margaret's name. The man from the SUV appeared, his voice cold. "You're in over your heads. Margaret's just a pawn. The fines are a front for our operation. Keep poking around, and you'll disappear like the others." Carter stepped forward, unflinching. "We're not backing down. We'll expose you." The man's smile was chilling. "You've crossed a line. This isn't over." We left, the threat ringing in my ears. Back home, we planned our next move. "We need evidence," I said. "We sneak into that warehouse tonight, get photos, documents, anything." Under cover of darkness, we slipped inside, the air thick with rust and fear. In the office, I found the file with Margaret's name. But then, footsteps echoed, growing closer. My heart stopped. We were out of time, and the truth was closer and more dangerous than ever.